The soldier opened his eyes slowly. The world around him was blurred. His chest burned with pain, and he could barely move. The smell of metal and strange medicine filled the air. He tried to sit up, but his body refused to listen. The room was not human. It was cold, with walls that glowed faintly blue. Strange symbols moved across glass panels. He realized he was not in a human base. He was in an alien place. His heart pounded faster, fear mixing with confusion. He had survived the battle, but he did not know where he was now. In the corner of the room, something shifted. A small figure moved quietly. He froze, trying to focus. His eyes, it was not a soldier, not a doctor he knew. Instead, it was something else. Something small, an alien. The figure stepped closer, soft steps on the floor. And then he saw her clearly, a tiny alien nurse. Her skin a pale silver. Her large, glowing eyes watching him with curiosity. She was no taller than his chest if he had been standing. Her hands were small, but careful. She carried a bowl with strange liquid that glowed faint green. He tried to speak, but his throat was dry. Only a rough sound came out. The nurse tilted her head, then gently put the bowl down on a stand beside him. She touched a panel on the wall, and the light grew brighter. The room no longer felt empty. It felt like a stage, and he was lying helpless at the center of it. Her hand moved slowly toward him. He tensed, unsure if she would hurt him or heal him, but when her palm rested against his chest, right over the wound, the burning pain eased just a little. Her touch was light, almost trembling. As if she was afraid of him, the soldier's breath grew shallow. His eyes locked on hers. He could see her trying to understand his heartbeat. Her lips moved, but her words were soft, almost like whispers. He could not catch the meaning. But her voice was not cold. It was warm, almost caring. He wanted to ask her why she was helping him, why she had not let him die. Humans and aliens were not allies, they were enemies. And yet this nurse was here, touching his chest, healing him when no one was watching. Minutes passed, though it felt longer. Her hand stayed on him, sometimes pressing lightly, sometimes pulling back, each time his body reacted, his chest rising and falling. His eyes watching her every move. He noticed how her fingers trembled whenever she touched him, as if she was fighting fear. But still, she did not stop. The silence between them was heavy, broken only by the faint hum of machines. Finally, she spoke, her voice low. Your heart. It is strong. Her words were broken, accented, but clear enough for him to understand. She had been studying his chest, his heartbeat, his breath, and it fascinated her. He tried to answer, but again his throat failed. Only a rasp came out. Yet she did not pull away. Instead, she leaned closer, her silver hair brushing her small shoulders, her eyes glowing like twin stars in the dim room. For a moment, he forgot the war. He forgot he was supposed to hate her kind. All he saw was a tiny figure risking something. To keep him alive, her eyes showed both fear and courage. Her touch showed both duty and something else, something he could not yet name. Time slowed. His heart pounded stronger under her hand, and he felt the suspense growing. Why was she here? Why did she care about him? And what would happen if others found out? The nurse finally pulled her hand back, her fingers glowing faintly with strange energy. She whispered something in her own language, words he did not understand. Then she touched the wound on his chest again. The pain dulled, his body eased, and sleep began to pull at him once more. Just before he closed his eyes, he saw her glance nervously at the door. Her body tense as if she feared someone might enter. Then her gaze returned to him, and for a heartbeat he thought he saw something more than duty in her eyes. Something fragile, something human. Darkness pulled him back. But the memory of her touch stayed with him, a touch that felt forbidden, a touch that carried both danger and hope. The soldier woke again after some hours. His chest still heavy, but the pain softer. The dim blue light of the alien room washed over him like cold moonlight. His eyes searched the room, and once again, she was there. The tiny alien nurse, sitting quietly in the corner. Watching him without speaking, she seemed even smaller now. Folded knees pressed to her chest, silver hair falling across her glowing eyes. When she noticed he was awake, she stood quickly, almost nervous, her delicate hands clutching a small glass vial inside the liquid shimmered like starlight. He tried to move his lips, to ask her who she was, but his voice was still broken, dry, the words refusing to come. She came closer. Shaking her head, as if telling him not to try, she placed the vial against his lips, slowly tilting it. The taste was sharp, bitter, yet strangely sweet. It spread warmth down his throat, easing the dryness. Her eyes never left him as he drank, and when he stopped, she pulled the vial back quickly. Almost as if she was afraid someone might see, she whispered, not aloud, her words clumsy, but clear, her gaze darting to the glowing walls. To the closed door, I should not help you. The soldier frowned faintly, confusion cutting through his weak body, not aloud, yet she was here. Risking herself, he wanted to ask why, but he could only listen. She leaned closer, her small voice like the sound of rain against glass. They told us. Humans dangerous, humans cruel, not worth saving. She paused, trembling fingers brushing the edge of his blanket. But I saw you breathe. I heard your heart. It is not the same as they said. Her words carried both fear and wonder, and the soldier realized something. This nurse was not just healing him, she was breaking rules. Rules that could destroy her if discovered. She was supposed to leave him to die, or at least let the higher aliens decide. Yet she had chosen differently. The silence stretched between them, heavy with secrets. She lowered her head, her silver hair falling over her cheeks. Then she whispered again, if they find out, they punish me, maybe worse. She raised her eyes, wide and glowing. But I could not leave you. The soldier's chest rose and fell, his heartbeat quickening, not from fear this time, but from the weight of her words. Why would she risk herself for him? She had no reason. Unless something inside her believed more strongly than fear. She reached for his chest again. This time slower, almost hesitant, her small hand pressed against the steady beat of his heart. She closed her eyes, as if listening deeply, her lips parted as though she was amazed. So strong she breathed, your chest. Full of fire, her words shook him, because no one had ever described him that way before. Not even among his own kind. To her, his heartbeat was not just life. It was something powerful, something different. The door outside hummed faintly. Footsteps passing, the nurse stiffened, her hand jerking back, her glowing eyes wide with panic. She pressed a finger to her lips, begging him for silence. The soldier obeyed, listening as the footsteps faded. Only then did she relax. Her chest rose and fell quickly, her hands clutching together as if she feared they might betray her. She whispered in a rush, they must not know. I am here only for you. I cannot tell anyone, not my people, not my leaders, only you. Her gaze locked with his. Full of fragile courage, the soldier felt the weight of her secret pressing into him. He understood now. He was not just a patient, he was her forbidden choice. Her silent rebellion. He wanted to tell her he was grateful, that her courage meant more than the medicine. But his body betrayed him, his voice still broken. So instead, he let his eyes speak, steady and strong. Holding her gaze with all the strength he had left, the nurse's lips trembled into a small smile. A smile mixed with fear and hope. She sat back down near him, closer this time. Not in the corner, but beside the bed, her small hand resting on the edge, almost touching his. Minutes passed like hours, the sound of machines filling the silence. Then she spoke softly again. I do not know why, but when I see you, I feel different. I want to understand. She lowered her voice. I want to know what it means. To be human, her words hung in the air, delicate yet powerful. And the soldier realized this tiny alien nurse was not simply curious. She was searching for something her world had never given her. And in that moment, he knew her secret was not only about healing him, it was about something larger, something dangerous, something that could change both their lives forever. The human soldier did not know how long he slept, but when he woke again, the room was darker. The walls glowed faintly, as if the light was afraid to shine. Outside the door, silence ruled, heavy and endless. He turned his head slowly, and there she was again, the tiny alien nurse. She had come back, even though she had said it was forbidden. Her small figure moved quietly, careful not to make noise. She carried something in her hands, a small tray with glowing medicine and cloth. Her eyes darted to the door before she slipped inside fully. Closing it softly behind her, the soldier's heart beat faster, not from pain this time, but from the mystery of why she kept coming back. She risked punishment, maybe even her life. Just to sit at his side, she placed the tray down and turned to him, her glowing eyes gentle. Still alive, she whispered. Her voice soft but certain. She pulled a chair closer, sitting beside his bed. Her hands shook as she unwrapped the cloth, revealing strange tools that shimmered faintly in the dim light. She worked carefully, cleaning his wound, placing drops of glowing liquid over the torn skin. Each drop stung, but then eased, the pain fading. He watched her hands, so small yet steady, her fingers moving with care, as if every touch mattered. After a while, she stopped. Resting her hand again over his chest, feeling the steady beat, she tilted her head, her voice low. I hear your heart even when I close my eyes. She paused. It is louder than any sound in this place. The soldier blinked, surprised. Her words carried more than simple curiosity. It was like she was confessing something. He wanted to answer, but his voice was still weak, so he only looked at her, letting his eyes show the questions his lips could not. She leaned closer, her silver hair falling to the side, shadows dancing over her small face. I should not be here, she whispered. If they find me, I will be taken away, punished, maybe erased. Her eyes filled with fear, but then she smiled faintly. But still, I come. Her words shook him. She was admitting that her fear of losing herself was less than her need to see him, less than her desire to understand him. She looked at him for a long time, her eyes glowing like two moons in the night. Then she spoke again. I have never been this close to a human, she whispered, her fingers brushing his blanket. They told us you are dangerous, that you bite, that you tear, that you kill, but I see something else. Her voice trembled but carried truth. She lifted her hand slowly and placed it back over his chest, her fingers pressing lightly to feel the rhythm. Your heart. It is not cruel, it is strong, but not cruel. The soldier's chest rose and fell under her hand, his body warm against her cool fingers. He wanted to tell her she was right, that humans were not only war and blood, but his throat refused. His voice trapped, so he let the weight of his heartbeat speak for him. She closed her eyes, listening, her lips moving silently as if speaking a prayer. Then she whispered words he did not expect. I want to learn more. I want to understand why your heart feels different. She paused, looking at him with a mix of fear and hope. Will you let me stay? He could not answer with words, but his gaze held hers, strong, steady, unbreaking. And she seemed to understand. A smile touched her lips, small but real. The silence stretched, heavy yet soft. Then she leaned closer, whispering as if the walls themselves might betray her. I will tell you something, but you must not speak it. not even in dreams. Her hand trembled as she stayed on his chest. I have always felt apart, different from my people. They obey rules, I do not. They believe lies, I question them, and now you are here, and I feel. I was right to doubt. Her words poured like water, slow but unstoppable. The soldier felt the weight of her confession. She was not only a nurse breaking rules, she was a soul searching for truth. And somehow, he was part of that truth. The machines hummed faintly, the air thick with the risk of discovery. Yet neither of them moved away. Her hand on his chest, his eyes locked on hers, both caught in a moment that felt fragile and forbidden. She whispered one last time before silence fell again. Do not fear me, human. I am not here to harm you. Her glowing eyes softened. I am here because I want to know what it means to feel alive, and in the darkness of that alien night, their secret bond grew stronger, hidden from all others, whispered only between their hearts. The soldier lay awake in the dim room. The machines hummed softly around him, but his attention was fixed on her, the tiny alien nurse who kept returning when she should not. Every night she came, bringing medicine, bringing whispers, and most of all, bringing questions that stirred inside his chest. That night, she moved closer than before, her glowing eyes locked on him, her hands trembling slightly. She seemed nervous, as if carrying a decision too heavy for her small frame. She reached for the cloth that covered him and gently pulled it lower, exposing the scarred skin of his chest. His breath caught. He wanted to ask what she was doing, but his voice still weak. His eyes followed her every move, her pale silver fingers hovered just above his chest before pressing softly against his skin. This time she did not only check his heartbeat, she explored it, tracing the edges of the wound, sliding across the strong muscles that rose and fell with each breath. Her touch was light, yet filled with intensity, like someone studying fire while afraid of being burned. She whispered, so warm, her voice trembling. Your body, alive in a way mine is not. She closed her eyes, listening deeply, her ear almost leaning close to his chest, hearing the thunder of his heart. The soldier felt his pulse grow louder, faster, her presence pulling at something inside him. He knew her kind, considered this act forbidden. No alien was allowed to touch a human in this way. It was more than medicine. It was intimacy. It was a secret that could not be explained if discovered. Her hand pressed harder, her eyes wide with wonder. No alien heart beats like this, she whispered. Ours are slow, steady, cold, but yours. Yours is strong, fierce, full of heat. She hesitated, then added, it frightens me, but I cannot stop. He watched her, a strange feeling growing inside him. This tiny nurse was breaking the rules of her people just to understand him, and in her eyes he saw not fear of him, but fear of her own feelings. The air in the room grew heavy, the silence thick. The nurse pulled back slightly, her lips trembling as she whispered, if they see me like this, they will call me traitor. They will take everything from me. Her hand still lingered on his chest, her fingers unwilling to leave. But when I touch you, I feel something I have never felt before. The soldier's breath deepened, his body weak but his spirit strong. He locked his eyes with hers, giving her silent permission, his gaze telling her he did not fear her touch. He welcomed it. Her cheeks flushed faintly, a shimmer of silver under the dim light. She lowered her head, pressing her hand flat against his chest. Listening once again to the pounding rhythm, it calls to me, she whispered. Like a song I do not know, but cannot ignore, for a long moment. Nothing moved except the rise and fall of his chest under her hand. It was dangerous, it was forbidden, but it felt right then, as if courage suddenly filled her. She reached with her other hand, gently brushing along his shoulder, tracing the lines of his body, exploring the human form she had been told to fear. every touch trembling, every movement filled with unspoken questions. The soldier's body shivered under her delicate fingers. He had faced battles, monsters, and death. Yet no moment had shaken him like this, the touch of a small alien nurse. Risking everything just to feel the truth of what he was, she pulled back suddenly, fear flashing across her face. She turned toward the door, listening, the silence outside pressed against the walls. She exhaled softly, relieved no one had entered. Then her eyes returned to him, shining with both guilt and longing. "I should stop," she whispered, her voice shaking, "but I cannot. My people told me humans are dangerous, but it is not danger I feel. It is something else." She bit her lip gently, her hand still resting on him. "Something I do not have words for." The soldier's eyes softened. And though his voice was still broken, he forced out a whisper. "Don't. Stop." The sound was rough but clear enough. Her eyes widened, glowing brighter, as if his words lit a flame inside her. Her hand pressed firmly against his chest one final time, her body trembling as though she had touched lightning. Then she pulled away, clutching her hands against herself, whispering quickly, "This is forbidden. This is wrong. But my heart, it does not care." The soldier lay still, his chest burning not with pain, but with something new. Her forbidden touch had changed something inside him, and he knew it had changed something inside her too, as the machines hummed and the shadows deepened. Both of them understood they were standing at the edge of something dangerous, something their worlds would never forgive, and yet neither wanted to turn back. The soldier lay quietly on the bed, his chest still warm from her touch. The tiny alien nurse sat beside him, her hands folded tightly as if trying to stop them from reaching for him again. The silence between them was heavy, broken only by the faint hum of the machines. She looked down at the floor, her silver hair falling like a curtain around her glowing face. Then slowly, she lifted her eyes to his. There was something in them he had not seen before. Not only curiosity, not only fear, but something deeper, something she was fighting to hold back. Her lips parted, trembling, and she whispered, "I must ask." Something. Her voice cracked, and for a moment she hesitated, her small fingers twisting the edge of the blanket. Then she leaned closer, her eyes locked on his mouth, her breath uneven. The soldier's heart pounded harder. He could feel it. Against his ribs, against the very place her hands had touched before, his mind raced, wondering what she was about to say. Finally, she spoke, her words soft but cutting through the silence. "May I taste your lips?" The world seemed to stop. The machines still hummed. The lights still glowed. But everything else froze. The soldier's breath caught in his throat. His eyes widened. He was not sure if he had heard correctly. She repeated, her voice shaking, "Your lips. I want to taste them." The soldier stared at her, his chest rising and falling quickly, his mind flooded with questions. Was this part of her strange medicine, a ritual of her kind, or was it something more, something she could not name but wanted to feel? Her glowing eyes searched his face. Desperate for an answer, she whispered again, "I do not understand why. But when I touch your chest, when I hear your heart, it makes me wonder. It makes me feel something my people never speak of. I think if I taste your lips, I will understand more." Her words shook him. She was not asking out of duty. She was asking out of something raw, something real. He tried to speak, but only a rough sound came out, his throat still weak. Yet his eyes met hers, questioning. Testing, she leaned closer, her small body trembling, her silver hair brushing against his arm, her voice a whisper. "I know it is forbidden. I know it is wrong. But I cannot stop this question inside me. Please, will you allow me?" The soldier's heart thundered, louder than ever. He thought of the dangers, of her people punishing her, of his own kind never forgiving him. but all of it seemed far away compared to the fragile figure before him, waiting, shaking, yet brave enough to ask. For a long moment, he stayed silent, his gaze locked on hers, the suspense heavy. She lowered her eyes, shame rising. "Forgive me," she whispered. "I should not have asked." Her words hit him like a blade, and in that instant he realized. Something she had risked everything just to ask. She had given him her secret. Her weakness, her desire, and now she feared rejection. Summoning what little strength he had, he lifted his hand. Trembling but steady enough to touch hers, her glowing eyes snapped back to his, wide with shock, his voice weak but clear enough whispered, "If you want." Then yes, her body froze, her breath quickened. Her small hands covered his gently, as if to hold on to the moment. Her eyes shimmered with a light that was not just alien, but something universal. Slowly, carefully, she leaned forward, her face close to his, her glowing eyes closing, her lips trembling as they hovered above his. For a heartbeat, the world was silent. Then she whispered one last time, "Thank you." The soldier's chest pounded like war drums, his heart screaming louder than any battlefield. He knew this. Choice would change everything. He did not know if it was healing or love or danger, but he knew it was real. Ouch. As she hovered there, trembling between fear and desire. The question still hung in the air. The question that had stopped him. The question that could not be undone. The soldier's heart pounded like thunder, his breath heavy as the tiny alien nurse leaned closer. The air between them, thick with fear and longing. Her glowing eyes closed slowly, her trembling lips brushing against his. It was soft at first, like the touch of wind on a quiet night. Her lips delicate, unsure, her small body shaking as if she expected lightning to strike her for daring to. Cross the line, the soldier froze, then slowly allowed himself to respond, his lips moving faintly against hers, weak but real. The moment stretched, her hand slid back to his chest, tasting firmly as if she needed to feel his heartbeat, while her lips tasted his, her breath caught. She shivered, whispering into the kiss, so warm. So alive, the soldier felt fire rush through him. His chest burned, but not with pain. With something deeper, something raw. He had faced death and fear before, but this small act, this kiss, felt more dangerous than any battlefield. She pulled back suddenly, gasping softly, her glowing eyes wide, her fingers clutching his chest as if she had touched fire. Her lips trembled as she whispered, "I should not have. This is forbidden. This is against all laws." Her voice cracked, her hands shook. Yet her body did not move away. The soldier watched her, his breath heavy, his eyes steady. He wanted to tell her not to regret it, not to fear it, but his weak voice refused, so he only looked at her, firm, strong, unbreaking. Her gaze softened, tears shimmering faintly in her glowing eyes. "Why does it feel so powerful?" she whispered. "Why does your heart call to me like this?" She looked down, pressing her palm harder against his chest. "No ritual, no lesson, nothing prepared me for this." Outside the door, footsteps echoed faintly. The nurse stiffened, her body trembling. She turned her head. Holding her breath, the steps grew closer, then faded again into silence. She exhaled slowly, her body sagging in relief. She turned back to him quickly, her glowing eyes fierce now, her whisper urgent. "If they saw us, they would destroy me, they would destroy you. They would erase even the memory of this moment." Her lips shook as she said it. "But I do not care. I wanted to know, and now I know." The soldier's chest rose, his heart beating hard beneath. Her hand, he wished he had the strength to tell her that he felt the same, that her kiss had broken something inside him, something that could never be repaired. Instead, he let his eyes speak for him, steady and full of meaning. She seemed to read it, her lips curving into the faintest smile, her small body still trembling. But her courage stronger than before. She whispered, "Your lips. They carry fire, they carry life. I never want to forget this." She leaned close again. Daring, reckless, her lips meeting his a second time, this time deeper, longer, her hands clutching his shoulders, her body pressing gently against him. The kiss burned, not like medicine, not like ritual, but like truth. The soldier closed his eyes, weak but alive, letting himself feel the danger and the beauty. He knew this moment could not last. But he also knew it would never leave them when she finally pulled back, her face flushed with silver glow. Her breathing fast, she whispered, "I have broken every rule of my kind." Her eyes shone bright with both fear and joy. "But I would do it again." She sat back slowly, her small hands still clutching the edge of his blanket, her eyes fixed on him. The silence between them heavier than ever, filled with the weight of their forbidden act. The soldier's chest burned, not with the wound, but with her kiss, his body weak, yet his spirit alive in a way it had never been before. He looked at her, and in that silent gaze, he told her everything he could not speak. The tiny nurse lowered her head, her voice trembling. "This kiss. It binds me to you now. I cannot see you as enemy. I cannot see you as other." She looked up again, her eyes shining fiercely. "You are mine, even if the galaxy says no." The soldier's breath caught. His heart thundered louder. He knew then that this small alien nurse had crossed a line that could never be undone, and so had he, in the stillness of that night. In the shadow of laws and danger, they had kissed against the rules, and nothing in the galaxy could erase it. The soldier lay silent, his chest rising and falling slowly. The taste of her kiss still lingering. The tiny alien nurse sat beside him, her glowing eyes wide, her small hands pressed tightly together as if holding on to courage that could vanish. At any moment, she looked at him with fear and wonder, her lips trembling. "I should be afraid," she whispered, "but I am not. I should leave you. Forget this, but I cannot." Her voice cracked softly. "I belong here, beside you." The soldier's heart thudded beneath his wound, heavy and strong. He wished his voice was strong enough to answer, but instead his gaze met hers, his eyes steady, telling her without words that he felt the same. Her hand crept forward slowly, hesitating in the air, then resting against his chest once more. She closed her eyes, listening to the beat, her face softening as if the rhythm gave her strength. "This sound," she whispered, "it anchors me. It makes me brave." Outside the door, the sound of voices echoed faintly, alien words sharp and cold. The nurse stiffened, her body trembling. She pressed closer to him, whispering quickly, "They cannot know. If they find me here with you, if they sense what we did, they will take me away. They will end me." The soldier's hand, weak but steady, lifted from the blanket. His fingers brushed hers, slow and deliberate. Her breath caught, her glowing eyes filling with tears. He did not need words. His touch told her, "I will not let them." Her lips parted in shock, then curved into the faintest smile. "Fragile, but alive." She nodded, whispering, "Then we are bound." Her voice carried a quiet strength, not by rules, not by blood, but by choice. The voices outside faded. Silence filling the room again. The nurse leaned closer, her forehead gently touching his, her whisper trembling against his skin. "From now on, I will protect you. I will heal you. I will stand against even my own if I must." Her eyes glowed fiercely. "Because my heart no longer belongs to them. It belongs to you." The soldier felt the weight of her vow. Heavy yet beautiful. He had come to this place as an enemy, broken and helpless. Yet here in this quiet room, an alien nurse had chosen him, risking everything. Her bond was not forced. It was given freely. For a long time they stayed that way, her hand on his chest, his weak fingers holding hers, both silent. Both knowing that the moment they stepped beyond this room, the galaxy would turn against them. Finally she pulled back, her small shoulders straight, her glowing eyes fierce with decision. "When you are strong enough, we will leave," she whispered. "They will try to stop us. But we will not bow. We will carve our own path." Her lips brushed his softly again, a promise sealed by touch. Together, the soldier's chest rose, his heart beating harder under her palm. He closed his eyes briefly, letting her words sink into him. He had thought he was alone. He had thought survival was only his battle. But now it was their battle. The machines hummed quietly, the blue walls glowing faint. The nurse stood for the first time, straight and proud despite her tiny frame. She looked down at him with determination. "I am no longer just a healer of my kind," she said softly. "I am your nurse, your bond, your ally." Her words filled the air with power, soft yet unbreakable. She returned to sit beside him, her head resting gently against his shoulder, her small body fitting against his larger frame. They did not speak again, but they did not need to. Their bond had been forged in whispers, in fear, in touches that broke rules. But now it was stronger than any law, stronger than the chains of war. The soldier knew the galaxy would not forgive them. Her people would call her traitor. His people might call him weak, but none of it mattered. What mattered was the fire between them, the heartbeat that tied them together. In the silence of that forbidden room, a new truth was born. A truth carried not by armies or leaders, but by a human soldier and a tiny alien nurse. A truth that whispered one promise: no law, no war, no galaxy could break the bond of human and alien.